Hello, everybody. It's Greg. Relatively quiet today. It's ahead of the holiday. We'll see what the afternoon brings. Semiconductors again, leading the charge. They're getting a little extended day after day. Pre-market today, I said, okay, look, whatever's extended at a minimum, it's got to break a prior day's low and ideally close below a prior day's low to indicate any kind of a pullback. And that's not happening yet. Of course, this could turn into a topping tail by the end of the day, but we'll see. You can see the 5-minute chart as this is retesting the prior pivot high. Seller showed up there. We'll see if it goes sideways. We've got pivot lows down at the bottom, so we've got a little trading range going on. S&P 500, just the narrowest little day, nothing going on here. Can holiday tomorrow. Maybe some people taking off for the whole week. We'll see what brings, but this is setting up initially what could be a 1-2-3 continuation. As you can see, this really isn't extended. Whatever it's moved up this year as we scroll back, which is a lot. This resting period that was about a month, and then the gap up, the continuation yesterday, and it's just resting today. As long as it can stay above, this area, yesterday's low, we'll assume it's going to go higher. It's stuck at this 55. Makes sense. 54 down below. Option expiration at the end of the week. Probably it doesn't move too much, I'm thinking, but day to day, we'll see. 65-minute chart, you can see is a little extended. It's sideways, doing nothing. Same trading range, back and forth. Qs, even though semiconductors are making a higher high, higher low day, Qs are inside day doing nothing. This is below the opening price. Sellers showed up, at the pivot and the open. Same trading range on the 5-minute chart. Russell showing relative strength today. You can see as this is moved up, it's not in a trading range, it's an uptrend on the 5-minute, but into resistance here on the 65-minute. So we'll see if this stalls and what it's going to do. In addition, at the 50 MA. And the interesting thing, we'll see what it does here, of course, since it's at this inflection point, whether it rolls back over, whether it can get through it, whether it goes sideways, and so on. The Dow, backing off, it kind of led the way up, but you can see the retracement here on the 5 is pretty deep. The question is whether they show up at support or whether it breaks down under yesterday's close and today's open. And the next step would be, I guess, the low of the day, but which isn't all that far away. So again, not expecting too much movement here in either direction. What else? We looked at IWM financials, having a decent day, but they broke down. We looked to the left. It hit this support area. They bounced up. Now it's into resistance. Probably not going to do too much. Pivot on the 65-minute and resistance there. Odds are this move up is over. We'll see what holds up or not. We can look at what's the showing strength today. I got another minder open here with sorting these different sectors. Well, this looks pretty darn good. See if it can close well. As far as financials go, in the S&P, Micron, that's getting extended. Likely to start pulling back. Hewlett-Packard. See, that came out of a base. The moving averages are tight here, so while it's extended on the short term, it really looks pretty good. And as long as it holds up above this area, it looks good. Teradyne looks like it's just starting a move, another semiconductor right off of the 20. I'm just looking at a few others as I poke through here. Jabil, come off of the low. That one we picked off of the bottom there. That did well. In the Dow, Verizon showing strength, but just a trading range. Goldman come off the 50. Home Depot following through. So these financials have improved. We'll see what they do at resistance or not. And the transports bounced up after breaking below that support level in a downtrend below all the moving averages. We'll see how that holds this area or how many sellers show up and turn it lower. A few others. Uber, looking this morning, started to make the turn. If it closes like this typically is going to come down into this area. That being said, this type of patterns that come off of the low, like that gap up, consolidation gap up, it's at this resistance. So weakness in the short term doesn't mean this type of strength is over. So even though if it closes this way and comes lower, odds are, as it comes to a lower price, lower high, lower low into support, it makes the turn, and that's where we get the bigger move. But look, it broke down on the 5-minute, under the moving averages. The gap filling when it failed brought in more sellers. We'll see if it can recoup this or not. So this is one of the ones that we'll see how it holds up or not. This was one that hit my alert first thing in the morning and took off. It's holding up very nicely, so that looks good. As always, if you have questions, email Dan and I, Dan and Greg at Master Trader. We'll talk soon. Coaching tonight, by the way.